everyone, and welcome back to ENN Tonight, the Environmental News Network's top stories from across the globe. I'm Rachel Larson, coming to you live from sunny Los Angeles, making sure your stories this spring aren't silent. Our top story tonight comes to you live from the Big Apple itself, a city where 2/3 of emissions come from powering buildings. New York City is iconic for its stellar skyline and bustling streets. However, behind the bustle comes a per capita energy use of 27 megacities combined, with the whole city averaging 11,000 megawatts of energy use per day. However, the Empire State Realty Trust is looking to transform the city that never sleeps into one at the forefront of renewable energy, starting with one of the most iconic buildings in the country. Along with the Empire State Building, the company has the plan to power its other 13 buildings solely on wind, making it the largest 100% user of green power in real estate. For more info on the story, I'm going to pass it along to my colleagues, starting with Elon Attenborough to talk about the technology being utilized in this monumental project. Take it away, Elon.
Thanks, Rachel. I'm Elon Attenborough, and welcome to Tech Talk. Today, we'll be diving into how an 8-year-old boy invented a system of artificial intelligence smarter than the average Republican. Yes. I'll do the other. Yeah, that's fine. Sorry, that was Fox News Corporation, our owner, and they say that story is no longer running. Today, instead, we'll be talking about the Empire State Building and its many green initiatives. Over the past decade, the Empire State Realty Trust has renovated nearly every aspect of the building to improve efficiency. The first phase of this project was to improve the building's ancient insulation. This meant that all 6,500 windows in the building were retrofitted, pulled off, and filled with a layer of insulating film and argon gas. Furthermore, covering each of these windows is a pre-programmed automated shade system that tracked the sun and reduced sun through the windows in the summertime and increased it in the wintertime. This cut down the AC bill and helped improve the sustainability of the building. Phase 2 of the refurbishing process aimed to increase electrical efficiency. This meant that every incandescent bulb in the entire building was replaced with LED lights, which are 4 times more efficient. This did include the well-known exterior lights atop the tower. This meant that a scaffolding had to be built and people had to pull out each individual bulb and replace them with an LED. The old steam heating system that heated the offices and hallways was redesigned to divert its excess condensation to heat tap water, and each tap that it flowed to was replaced with a 50% more efficient low-flow spout. Decreasing water bills helped the planet. Furthermore, not only did engineers improve electrical efficiency, they also turned all 68 elevators into electricity generators through regenerative braking. You may know this through Tesla, but apparently the Empire State Building does it too. Meaning that when you take the elevator down, you're actually feeding energy back into the building's electrical system and helping the grid. So the next time Sally from Weather tells you to take the stairs, you can tell Sally to bugger off because you are saving the planet. Now let me pass you off to our next correspondent.
Okay, next up, we're going to talk about how this business model is so beneficial for the realty firm. By placing environmental sustainability at such high importance, they're able to attract the tenants with similar priorities, which actually helps them develop more long-term business relationships. The efforts don't just stop at the Empire State Building, but actually expands to their properties that cover 10 million square feet throughout Manhattan, the greater New York metropolitan area, and even Connecticut. The work in collaboration with stakeholders, the New York City Green Task Force and the New York City Mayor's Carbon Challenge to collectively move this iconic city towards a greener future. The company is in the midst of trying to achieve carbon neutrality by the year 2030 and an 85% reduction in local emissions by 2035. And it doesn't stop there. They plan to address other aspects of energy consumption, water usage and pollution, and waste consumption. There are hopes to see a 5% decrease in waste generation year over year, as well as a 2% decrease in water usage. The Empire State Building is the first building to receive the WELL Health and Safety rating, which just goes to show how great of a job they're doing at their part to help the climate crisis. The company also serves the perfect example for other businesses to assess the energy usage in their own operations and follow in their footsteps. They aim to promote awareness by sharing information about their operations with governments and local businesses. Many experts in the field agree large companies do have a greater responsibility to recognize the impact they have on the environment and their position as a role model to others. As we see here, the Empire State Realty Trust is doing exactly that. And as you go throughout your day, just remember, sustainability is sexy. Next, we take it to Patrick Starr, our in-field economy correspondent, for more on this story.
Hi there. Thanks, Miss Cheeks. Stupid name. What do we got here? So, yeah, the Empire State Building's retrofit has proven to be extremely effective, saving over 115,000 tons of greenhouse gas emissions over the next 15 years, equating to over $4.4 million in profits and in savings. Wait, what? Oh, so you're telling me that some random building in New York whose only purpose is to be tall gets to just save nearly $5 million a year? Meanwhile, people like me, the real heroes, are stuck out here making $23.50 an hour. It's sorry. Sorry guys, I've been going through some stuff at home. Where were we? Anyways, the building's owner, Anthony Malkin, has stated that the economically feasible retrofits have succeeded in setting an example for plenty of other buildings in New York, and they've reported their highest year in profits during the year of 2019. He also stated that the investment is soon to be paid off in the next 2 to 5 years, leaving no downsides to the economic sustainability of the building. Wow, yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's great. The Anthony Malkins of the world get to just stand tall in their buildings, you know. They just get to make millions of dollars in profit, strengthen their economic model, cut carbon emissions by 33%, and leave a brighter future for our children. Meanwhile, guys like us are stuck here with dead-end jobs and wives that leave us because we're emotionally unavailable and can't satisfy her needs. Well, guess what, Susan? I'm out here making a difference, giving the people vital information while you're out there sleeping with the mailman! Anyways, that'll do it for this segment. I'll take it to Karen Plankton right now, who has more on what the future of this story holds. Back to you, Karen.
For close to 100 years, the Empire State Building has served as a testament of the industriousness and economic prosperity of the United States. Now, the building takes on an even greater meaning, serving as a beacon for the future of renewable energy use. As we mentioned before, powering commercial buildings in New York alone contributes to 66% of the city's carbon emissions. Being one of the most prominent and highly populated buildings in the city, the Empire State Building's use of sustainable power avoids the production of nearly 450 million pounds of carbon dioxide. That's roughly what you would get if you removed every single taxi from the streets of New York for an entire calendar year. This is a huge step towards New York's goal of going carbon-free by 2040. Beyond that, though, the hope is that the Empire State Realty Trust effort will inspire similar action throughout the United States. Commercial buildings around the country account for 35% of the United States' electricity consumption and 16% of carbon dioxide emissions. This stems partially from the fact that only 2% of renewable energy is directed towards the commercial sector, as opposed to the 7% and 22% that go into the residential and industrial sectors, respectively. That's why it's so important to have leaders switching to renewables in the commercial sector, especially as consumption by commercial buildings is projected to keep growing until the year 2050, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration's annual energy forecast. Anthony Malkin, CEO of Empire State Realty Trust, states, quote, "If we increase the demand for clean power, we'll necessarily decrease the demand for polluting power. And if we decrease the demand for polluting power, that stuff comes off the grid. So immediately the project will help mitigate the damages done by carbon emissions within New York. And more broadly, the company hopes that this step towards normalizing the use of renewable energy in the commercial sector will set a trend that can be followed throughout the country." Next, I'll be passing you off to our next correspondent to wrap it up.
Okay.
Well, there you have it, folks. Looks like even the busiest of cities can make efforts to go green. Coming up after the break, have you ever wondered how Elon Musk likes his eggs in the morning? This new app will tell you. Coming up next on ENN Tonight.